Papa's Stories by Dolores Johnson. When Kari was just a little girl, she waited every day by the front door for her father to come home. And when Daddy strode into the house, his long legs covered in dirty blue jeans, he asked, "Where's my little princess?" While Mama cooked supper and Papa bathed a day's worth of soil from his skin, Kari chose a book filled with words and colorful pictures. Papa settled into his favorite chair. His skin smelled as fresh as fir trees. Kari climbed into his lap and snuggled into the crook of his arm. Then Papa read her a story. Kari's father read that day, as he often did, from a big red book that was Kari's favorite. "This is the story of little Miss Too Big for Her Red Britches," he began. Her mama told her, "Daughter, it's about time you got out of the house for a spell and had yourself a picnic. Take your shoes off and cool your toes by the side of the bubbling spring. Shade your face from the sun under the old oak tree. And whatever you do, don't share a crumb of your food with that crooked, mustached, evil fella."
Who's Ustash? Who's that, Papa? Here he is. He's this mean old hairy wolf.
There were times when Kari and Papa got so wrapped up in their reading that Mama would have to call them again and again to supper. And then there were times when Mama let supper wait while she joined Kari and Papa on the porch in the moonlight. Or during the winter chilly's evening, the whole family would snuggle up close together on the sofa and read books by the light of the fire. Papa read stories about strange little boys who swallowed magic till they were full of beans, and giants who were angry because their mustaches didn't fit. He read about stingy hags who didn't want to share their apples, and little girls with 7 brothers the size of toadstools. He read books about girls who traveled by pumpkin wagon and old biddies with corns on their toes. Kari loved to hear her father read the stories. When Papa couldn't finish the books before supper, he finished them as he put Kari to bed. Most likely the stories had changed a bit and usually got more interesting. One time, when he read again from Kari's favorite book, Miss Too Big for Her Little Red Britches wasn't going on a picnic anymore. She was going to visit her grandmama, who grown whiskers so fierce that no one wanted to kiss her. Another time, the story was about a bean-eating boy who changed. Now he was climbing the beanstalk to be first in line to heaven.
I love the way the stories change every time you read them, Papa.
As Kari grew older, Papa said, "You're getting too big, little princess. Soon I'll be sitting on your lap instead of you sitting in mine."
Oh, Papa,
giggled Kari.
I'll never be that big.
"No, but you're growing up," he said. "You're almost finished kindergarten. You've got new friends. Soon things may change between you and your papa," Kari told him.
Things will never change, 'cause you're the best Papa a girl could ever have. I'll always love you, no matter what.
One day, Kari brought home an older neighbor girl named Jennifer. They played dress-ups, some games, and they played with Kari's dolls. Then Jennifer picked up Kari's favorite red book and said,
"Oh, I love this book, Little Red Riding Hood." "No," Kari said. "That book is the story of little Miss Too Big for Her Red Britches." I know, 'cause my papa must have read it to me 500,000 times.
Kari opened the book and turned the pages.
See, this is where her grandma grows those terrible whiskers. No, let me show you. This is Little Red Riding Hood,
said Jennifer, as she pointed out the words on the cover. She took the book out of Kari's hands and pointed out every word as she read the story from the beginning.
Once there was a little girl who lived near the woods. She wore a cape with a red riding hood.
That evening, while Kari's mother cooked supper in the kitchen, Kari asked her questions that had been bothering her all afternoon.
Do words change every time you read them, Mama?
Kari's mother stopped stirring. They shouldn't, baby, she said. Written words are always the same.
If a person can't read, does that make them dumb?
Kari's mother turned to face her. No, darling. Most of the time it means that they just haven't had a chance to learn.
If someone tells you one thing for a long, long time, and you find out it's another, could they be lying about how much they love you too?
Kari asked. Kari's mother put her arms around her daughter. Your father loves you very much. But you're right. There should be no secrets between children and their parents. I think you and your papa really need to talk, she said. So Kari waited by the window for her father to come home. And when he tried to pick her up, Kari asked him,
Can't you really read, Papa? Were you ever going to tell me?
Papa slowly let Kari down. Then he sat in his favorite chair and pulled Kari to him. Papa stumbled around with words that seemed really hard to say. I never, ever intended to fool you, little princess. It was so special to me, the way you loved to hear my stories. I just couldn't find a way to tell you. I didn't know how to read.
Why didn't you ever learn, Papa?
When I was young, I didn't care enough about learning, and there was no one who seemed to care about me. When I got older, I didn't love myself enough to even try. Kari told her father,
Well, I love you so much. I love you and Mama so much. So as soon as I learn to read in school, I'm going to teach you.
Papa held out his arms, and father and daughter embraced. But then Papa picked up Kari's favorite book and began very, very slowly. Once there was a little girl who lived near the woods. She wore a cape with a red riding hood.
Papa, you can read!
I realized a while ago it was time for me to do better. I decided that I had a real good reason in my life to make a special effort to learn again. So I asked your mother to teach me how to read. Kari snuggled even tighter in her father's arms as he continued to read Little Red Riding Hood. Then she stopped him right in the middle of a word.
Excuse me, Papa, when you finish this book, read it to me again like you always did. I love the extra special way you read the stories.
The end. To find Papa's stories and other stories by Dolores Johnson, visit your local library.